It is a lifestyle change, and we're hoping that you'll pick up a nugget or two and something that you can incorporate in your lifestyle, hopefully the rest of your life, that improves your daily habits.
K-State Research and Extension's Walk Kansas program has been helping participants improve their mental and physical health for more than 20 years. The 8-week team-based program encourages participants to get at least 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity each week and to eat more fruits and vegetables. Walk Kansas 2023 begins March 26th and runs through May 20th. On today's Sound Living, the benefits of making a few lifestyle changes to improve your overall health. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman. In addition to encouraging participants to be physically active and eat healthy, Walk Kansas State leader Sharolyn Jackson says the program also provides information on chronic disease prevention, stress management, and preparing healthy meals. Sharolyn, Walk Kansas, one of the longest-running programs through Extension, and Walk Kansas 2023 coming up very soon, March 26th through May 20th. Registration is now open.
Yes, it is. We opened registration beginning of March, and so we'll continue, in most cases, through the first week of the program.
Talk about that process. How do we go about this? This is a team-based event.
It's a team-based event, and when it was first created, when Walk Kansas was started in 2001, we were basically looking at the physical activity guidelines for Americans, which for minimum amount of recommended activity, it's 150 minutes per week. So we founded the program that if 6 people would collectively meet the minimum guidelines of physical activity, they could collectively and virtually walk across the state of Kansas, which is 423 miles. So that's how basis that we use for our teams of 6. Plus, it's a good number to have for just supporting one another, encouraging and being kind of like a team unit. That's a real motivating part of the program.
You talk about the team unit, and part of that is choosing a captain, and the captain has a little bit more responsibility.
They do, and the main one is to get their team registered. So to do that, we encourage a captain to have at least 4 people when they go to register. They can add more later. So they go to www.walkkansas.org. And then just click on the registration site, and that'll take you to the online registration system. And also, it's the same address then to log your minutes and fruits and vegetables and stuff later in the program.
I mentioned this is a long-running program, and some teams have been together since the beginning, so they probably are keeping that same team name?
Yes, I think there are some. It's amazing to try and imagine that because we started in 2001, so 23 years engaging in the program and having some of the same people on the team is really great.
Well, and part of that is because of the benefits of Walk Kansas. I think people like to get out in the spring as the weather is starting to get nicer, but there are a lot of health benefits to whether you're walking or jogging or biking, whatever it might be, to be physically active.
There are huge benefits, and we learn more and more all the time about those benefits. And so you made a good point. It's not just walking. So it's any kind of physical activity that gets your heart beating a little bit faster, you're exerting some energy to where you can carry on a conversation just barely, but you can't sing. That's the moderate intensity level. And vigorous activity can give real benefits, even if you add those just in little short bursts of 30 seconds to a minute while you're walking, just walk really, really fast. Vigorous, you can kind of gauge by whether you can say a few words, but not really carry on a conversation. So we're really looking at those levels of activity and meeting that 150 minutes per week is the minimum. So trying to get, 20 to 30 minutes of that kind of activity a day is what we're looking at. Those benefits can range from just feeling better, having a better outlook on life, a better mood, to getting better sleep. There's a range of almost every chronic condition that you can get. Being physically active can help delay or prevent that, or even help you manage it. Has huge benefits for your heart, for your brain. So there's just so many reasons that we promote physical activity, and walking is something almost everybody can do.
Yeah, you can do it almost anywhere. You can either go to the mall, you can do it outside, enjoy nature, and part of that is just really making sure that you're getting out and doing it.
Exactly. The best activity is the one that you'll actually do. So we just really use this as a motivator, as a way to nudge and motivate people to, springtime is a great time to do it because the weather, we've had winter weather and the colors are coming back and it's great to be outdoors, and there are a lot of added benefits from being outdoors as well. But we really want to get people in that habit so then when there are times when they can't be outside. They still realize how much better they felt when they were physically active. They'll find some of those ways to continue that through those winter months when they have to be indoors.
You mentioned this is a team-based activity, but really you can do this on your own. You don't have to walk as a team. It's just reporting as a team.
That's right. And there's also the solo trail. We have the Purple Power Solo Trail that actually begins here in Manhattan at Kansas State University, and that's something you can go on your own. You don't have to have a team. And it's starting to grow in popularity because some people find that the team motivation is great, but maybe it just works better for them to report on their own and go on the solo trail.
You mentioned the fact that it started out as just kind of walking across Kansas, and then I think there was one where you could walk the perimeter of the state. There are basically 3 challenges that they need to decide between.
Well, actually, there are 4 this year. So we've added a trail. I'll kind of go through from the trail that requires the minimum amount of physical activity and then end with the one that requires the most. So you can discover the 8 wonders of Kansas, and this particular trail is about 480 miles long. And so it requires you to get that minimum amount of physical activity, and it visits the 8 wonders of our state. The second challenge is the new one this year, and it's the one that follows Route 56, the U.S. highway. And it actually starts in New Mexico. So you walk for a little bit before you hit Kansas, but most of the trail is in Kansas. It's a length of 640 miles, and it requires about 200 minutes of physical activity a week. Then challenge 3 goes cross-country. You start in the northeast corner, and you go clear down to the southwest corner of the state. That's 768 miles, and takes about 4 hours a week to do that one. And then for those that want to really challenge themselves, we have the Little Balkans in southeast Kansas area to Nicodemus, and it swirls and turns a lot and ends up in Nicodemus, and it's 1,152 miles, and it'll take each person 6 hours a week to walk that trail.
So I guess what you're saying here is be realistic when you set that goal, especially if you're maybe a first or second year team?
Sure. If you're completely new to this and you just need to get some basic physical activity habits going, you might want to choose challenge 1 or 2. The thing of it is, too, you can do more than one trail. So if you finish your first trail and you've got some time left, you can switch over to another one and explore another trail. And these are all virtual. They have waypoints along the way. And once you pass through those, you can go back and look at where you've been and learn about the history of Kansas and some photos to go with that. But not just the history of Kansas, but also interesting attractions and maybe some walking trails you'll find along the way, too, in different parts of the state. Some of those are included.
The physical activity is just really one part of Walk Kansas. There's also some tracking done in terms of hydration. You'd like them to keep track of the water that they're consuming and also fruits and vegetables. That's
right. We say that the water part is optional, and for some people that really is helpful, but it's in our system, and you can track that if you want to. And we really promote just sticking with water as your basic beverage to stay hydrated, of course. And so we also ask people to log fruits and vegetables. And the reason being is that Walk Kansas isn't just a physical activity program. It's really an overall health program. And so the thing that I like about it is walking is great stress relief. It's just a way to refocus, your thoughts and to manage and balance things. So I think that goes along, just in promoting general health and well-being. But nutrition is huge in our health. And so we do ask people to increase their fruit and vegetable consumption just because most people don't get enough. And so, in fact, they're really low in fruits and vegetables. And we do have a new option this year, a new benefit from the program. It's called Med instead of Meds. And so it's really focusing on nutrition instead of medication to improve your health. And it's a 6-week virtual series. It's going to run from week 2 through week 7 of Walk Kansas. And it's focused on the Mediterranean eating style. And through the newsletters, we'll look at what makes up a healthful diet. And Mediterranean diet or eating style is one of the best, but it's not the only one. But this is a more deeper dive into what is a med style of eating. And so we'll look at those 7 simple steps to eating the med way. And it'll be on Wednesdays during those weeks over the noon hour, and just requires a second registration. Once you've registered for Walk Kansas, then there'll be information in the online portal to register for med instead of meds.
I'm thinking some people are out there going, yeah, but we're in the heartland. We're not in the Mediterranean. How is this going to work? Really, these are foods that you can find anywhere. It's really just getting used to that type of, purchasing in some cases, buying those type of foods.
Well, and it's the topics that we explore are we look at, changing your protein, getting high-quality protein, and that can include all types of protein, not just specifically, if you think of the Mediterranean, you might think of fish, but we do recommend we need to eat a little bit more fish, but that's not the only thing you can include. And there's also how to swap fats in your diet. What are the healthy fats? And snacking on nuts and seeds instead of other kinds of snacks. Of course, the real foundation is eating more vegetables and fruits and the whole grains. That's really kind of a focus of the Mediterranean eating style. And then the last session, we look at rethink your sweets. So looking at how to enjoy things that give us that feeling of something sweet or a treat, but it's still healthful.
Yeah, sometimes we rely too much on the sugary. We rely maybe too much on some of the carbs and things like that in the American diet. And this is just another way to look at ways that you can change your diet.
Right.
And really part of this we should talk about in terms of Walk Kansas is because it's an 8-week program, the goal is to make these a lasting change. It's a lifestyle change.
It is a lifestyle change. And we're hoping that, obviously in the 8 weeks' time, you're not going to make just a complete huge transformation. Maybe a few people would, but it's just picking up 1 or 2 new things that you can add to really focus on and make it a habit. And so we hope that you'll pick up a nugget or 2 and something that you can incorporate in your lifestyle, hopefully the rest of your life, that improves your daily habits.
That's a good point. This is really kind of an educational program as well. There's the physical aspect. There's the information that you're going to be passing along through the newsletters. And that's something that they can go back and rely on. They can look at. And once you learn something, you never really forget it. So you can, if you maybe fall off after, May 20th ends, you can get right back on it in June.
Right. That's a really important point about physical activity in terms of we also let people know that you're all going to get to those places in time where your schedule, your lifestyle is just too hectic and you might lapse on your habits of physical activity. Just expect that and have a plan to get back on track.
This is something that anybody can do at any level, and I think maybe someone who has not been participating in something that's more physically active might actually get more out of this than someone who does this day in and day out because this is new to them. They're exploring, and they're starting to realize that, hey, I can do this. Maybe I only went around the block today, but maybe I go around the block twice tomorrow.
That's right. And I've said that we really want to bring out the couch potatoes with people that have just been kind of sitting around and not getting much physical activity. That's really who we'd like to reach with Walk Kansas and certainly support and maintain those who have good habits already, that we welcome anybody to participate. We have all ages. There's no age limit to the program, so anyone can participate. I just had a call yesterday that in one of the counties there's a nursing home that's going to be offering Walk Kansas to their residents and thinking about some fun ways they can incorporate that with their residents. So from small children on up through the end of life, it's something that has a little bit there for everybody.
Yeah, it really could be a great family activity as well.
And you don't have to be in Kansas. That's the neat thing about it. You can be in other states, other countries. If you've got family or friends in other places in the world, you can certainly have them on your Walk Kansas team, and it can be a fun way to connect and support each other from a distance.
Go ahead and give us all the necessary information again. How can they get registered, and when does it all kick off?
Yes, registration is now open, and just go to walkkansas.org, O-R-G, and click on the registration button, and it'll take you to the online system. So make sure you have everything ready to go. You'll need the name and the email or mailing address of those people on your team that you're going to register as the team captain. So then you'll also need to pay the fee for your entire team, and that'll be the captain's responsibility to get reimbursed. So just want you to know up front when you go to register. And so once you get into the system, you'll choose where you're participating. If there's not a Walk Kansas program listed in the county where you live, there's no restriction. You can sign up anywhere that you choose to in the program. And so just complete those steps, and then starting March 26th, provided that everybody's gotten their registration information complete and the fees are paid, then they'll be ready to log and start the program on March 26th.
That's K-State Research and Extension Family and Consumer Sciences Specialist for the Northeast Region and State Leader of Walk Kansas, Sharolyn Jackson. Walk Kansas 2023 begins March 26th and continues through May 20th. To learn more or to register your team, go to walkkansas.org. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.